Hey, what's up YouTube? It has been some time. Welcome back. It's been a while, obviously, and I've been meaning to make more videos for a while now. I had problems with my editing programs. I got a new computer, had a new editing program, didn't know how to use it. I had attempted to make just some basic soap making videos within the past year and tried to record it on my phone, which didn't work. So I had given up for a while, but today I just got a bug up my ass that I'm going to make a video that I've been meaning to make for quite some time. I want to teach you how to make a cream soap from scratch using your regular lye calculator. A lot of the information that I find on making a cream soap is very confusing and overwhelming, and there's strict rules that are talked about that I don't think need to be followed, in my opinion, and in my recipes that I've created. You don't have to put all this stearic acid in. You don't have to use a fancy lye calculator. You don't have to do any of that shit. It's frustrating. I mean, you can if you want to, but I'm going to show you how to make the most basic sort of cream soap, which is some potassium hydroxide, which is the liquid soap, lye, and some sodium hydroxide, which is the bar soap, lye. You can play around with proportions. You can play around with the oils and butters that you're using. You can really kind of just do whatever the hell you want. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So first things first, we are going to create a recipe. Let's do it. Okay, so here we are in the lye calculator. This is the basic wholesale supplies plus lye calculator. And first we're going to start with our KOH. This is the potassium hydroxide for the liquid soap. So we're going to go here. I like to work in ounces, work however it is that you prefer to work. And I'm going to do the most basic kind of recipe here. It's going to have a small 16 ounce of oil batch. We're going to do 10 ounces of coconut. We are going to do 3 ounces of grapeseed oil. And then, I got to have some shea butter. So we're going to do another 3 ounces of shea. Now, I'm going to show you the way that I do this, and it has always worked for me. So yeah, basically here it is. There's our oils. We're going to calculate, and then we're going to view the recipe. Boom. My recording area is cutting off some of the stuff over here, which I apologize. But you see the important stuff, which is right here. Now, water, 6.08 ounces. My scale goes in 0.05 increments. If you want to do grams, do whatever you are comfortable with, okay? I work in ounces, so I'm going to round that to 6.05. Those little increments don't matter that much in the long run, so don't stress out too much about that. Now here's where the math comes in. Your KOH, your lye. I'm going to do an 80-20 recipe, which means 80% KOH, 20% NaOH. So we're going to do the 80% right now. Boom, check it out. Get my calculator up here. We're going to move this over. Wait, let me double check. 3.468. So we're going to do 3.468 times 80%, which is 0.8. That's 2.7744. We're going to round that to 2.75. Okay. Here's where I go in and I double check some things. We're going to go back. Oh, I go back over here. To double check, let's do this entire recipe at 80%. You following? Whoops, wrong button. Here's my calculator again. 10, oops. Of course, I can't get anything right now that I'm recording. 10 ounces multiplied by 80% is 8 ounces, right? 8. 3 ounces times 80% is 2.4. So we're going to do 2.4 and 2.4. So that's 80% of our oils. And this is we're going to calculate it and we're going to view it. And boom, it's the exact 2.774 that we did in the calculator ourselves, right? Yes, it is. See? There you go. So write that down. You can print it if you have a printer. I don't, so I don't. I write it down. I like handwriting it anyways for some reason. So we don't do the water because we're going to do the 6 whatever ounces of water that we had already said. But your KOH is going to be 2.77 for this recipe. All right, back here. Switch it over to your sodium hydroxide, your quote-unquote normal lye for bar soap. We're going to put in our total recipe right here again. 10, 3, and 3. Calculate. View that bitch. Here we go. See, 6.8 ounces of water. And this comes to the full amount, 2.472. Whoops. 2.472. Is that it? Yes. Now by 20% times 0.2. We're going to round that up to a nice 0.5 because my scale does not create this number. And that's such a tiny amount that it doesn't matter. We're also including here, there is a super fat. They say not to do super fats with liquid soaps and things like this, but this is going to be whipped and enriched anyways. So it's fine to kind of tweak a little bit. So we're going to go back and do the same thing we did before. Whoops, to double check. Let's do 10 times 0.2. We know that's 2 ounces. Whoop, come on now. 2. We're going to do 3 times 0.2, 0.6. We're going to calculate and we're going to view it. There we go, the 0.5. So the screen recorder that I use cut me off like right as I had finished the recipe. But hopefully you're following. You're picking up what I'm throwing down. You have to use your brain for this. I'm the type of person that doesn't like to follow other people's recipes. I want to know and figure out why is that recipe even a thing? Like, what's the point of all of this? So I try to figure it out myself. That's just how my brain is wired. So hopefully you're following me. You can be able to do the same thing with your own recipes. Obviously, you see the exact recipe that I'm working with, so you can really just copy that if you want to. I'm encouraging you not to. But if you want to, okay, go ahead. That's fine with me. But basically what you're going to do is you can make your lye proportions however you want. I like 80-20. 80% liquid soap lye, 20% bar soap lye. That's just how I'm doing it for this. At the very end, you see I double check it with both. I do the full amount and then I do the math to get the percentage myself, and then I fraction out the recipe itself to make sure they match, and it always matches because math, okay? So once you have your recipe, print it out. If you print it out, you're going to want to do the 2 separate ones where you do the fractions of the oil and not print out the full amount. You following? I just write it down because I like to write it down. So once you have your recipe, you're going to measure out your oils and your lye. You're going to get your crock pot ready. Are you ready? Let's make some cream soap. All right, so once you have your recipe, you're going to want to melt your oils in a crock pot or melt them and put them into your crock pot, whatever. The point is that your crock pot is on because you got to cook this. Here I have my water and my lyes. Both lyes dissolved in the water. I don't think it matters which lye you put in first as long as you add the lye to the water and not the water to the lye. Now, with the recipe that we came up with, of course, we discussed this just a second ago. 2.75 ounces of potassium hydroxide and 1/2 ounce of sodium hydroxide dissolved in 6.05 ounces of water. We're going to just put it right in there and get to blending. Okay, guys, we have just reached the 9-minute mark, and a soap finally turned into soap. It did take a little while. I'll speed up the video, but I had to stop a few times and take some notes so I can remember, even if I'm fast forwarding for you guys, about how long. You saw it hit the applesauce phase. That was very brief. I was scraping the edges of the crock pot at that point. And then very quickly, when I started blending again, it began to truly emulsify into this fluffy goodness that it is right now. Get the last out of there. Because this is such a small batch, excuse me, it was hard to get a solid blending stream going because I wanted to splash on me. You could obviously make a much bigger batch. If you're going to make a huge batch, definitely invest in one of those turkey roasters, which are just gigantic crock pots essentially. They've got temperature controls, and it's essentially the same thing as a crock pot, just real big and with more control of everything. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get all the goodness off of my stick blender here. Good enough for now. Yeah, check that out. I mean, that is the very beginnings of cream soap paste. We're going to let this cook for a while. A lot of people in the past have asked me for advice on making just liquid soap paste in their crock pot, and because diluting it or cooking it, you really can't overcook it. I'm sure that if you left it in for long enough, I'm talking days, you could burn it. That's going to take a really long time, and I would hope that none of you who are even attempting a recipe like this would be so silly as to leave cooking soap in your crock pot for 3 straight days to where it would burn. So it should cook pretty quickly, but you don't have to worry about overcooking it. If you're not sure, cook it some more. That being said, I've noticed that compared to a lot of other people's recipes with liquid soap paste and cream soap paste even, they do cook it a really long time. When I have been able to pH test it right away, and it's honestly pretty cooked without having to go that long. Let me see if I can find my testing strip right now, actually. They were not sitting right beside me like they should have been, but I went and found them. So let's do a quick, after this, it's been almost 13 minutes. Let's do a quick little test just to see where we are at this point. We're definitely still very, very base. Okay, well, let me just wipe some of the soap off here. Gloved finger, smear it in a little bit. Okay. We are, yeah, probably a 12, somewhere between a 10 and a 12. It's hard to tell because it just looks dark. Either way, we want it to be green, not this purplish bluish. So we have some time to cook it. I'm gonna give it one more fluffy stir. It's just looking so beautiful. I haven't made soap in a really long time, you guys, especially not a crock pot soap or soap paste. It's been a while, so glad I got the itch today. So far, I'm not regretting it. Okay, we'll let this cook for a little bit. Check back in with you in a little while. All right, I'm back at my crock pot. It's been about 3 hours. I'll be honest with you, I had some stuff to do, so I just turned my crock pot on low and I left. I did my stuff. Very set it and forget it when it comes to crock pot soaps. So yeah, I haven't even touched this. I'm just not opening it for you as I would for myself. I hadn't looked at it yet, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, it got a little gelatinous and clear looking on top. It's definitely very hot and foamy. But it's done. I know that it's done. I already shut my crock pot off. It probably even, okay, here's my pH strip from the first time. And that's actually showing up at a 9. So essentially it was done then. And I could have probably just shut the crock pot off and been done, but what the heck. Cooked it some more. It did. You're going to lose some water the longer you cook it. Like some water is going to evaporate. And I know you obviously put the lid on the crock pot, but some of it still sneaks out. So look at that. It's done. Boop. Let's do a pH test to see if it did lower it at all. That extra cooking. If I would have been home, I would have been stirring this more often. I probably would have shut the crock pot off a little bit earlier as well. But like I said, I had some stuff to do, so I went and I did my stuff. Simple as that. Okay, let's smooth this around. Don't need a glove anymore because it's done. It's not too hot either. Okay, we can do a little comparison here. Boom. This was number 1. See, it's about a 9. Definitely lighter than the 10. So we're at a pH of 9. That's essentially what soap is going to be. And here's the new one. It's still kind of light, but it's a little tiny bit greener than the 9. I'd say it's probably somewhere around an 8.5. I always do the zap test with my tongue and I just lick it. It almost feels like an electric zap if there's still active lye in the soap. Like people are like, well, how do you know if it's done with the licking test? And believe me, if there's lye in there, you're gonna know. It's like a battery, licking a battery. If there's no lye, it just tastes like you're licking soap. So it's done. It's totally done. It was done before, but I cooked it some more. Doesn't hurt, like I was saying. And that's it. This is cream soap, you guys. 80% potassium hydroxide formula and a 20% sodium hydroxide in this formula. And it's a simple recipe of coconut oil, shea butter, and grapeseed oil. It should produce some nice creamy lather. It's going to be lathery, bubbly goodness. It's going to be creamy and soothing though, not super dry because there's a lot of coconut oil in there, but quite a bit of the shea and the grapeseed also. So that's it. What I'm going to do now is lay this out and put it in a container to, the cream soap term is rot. That's the term for curing it. You don't have to cure this. You can let it cool down and whip it and dilute it slightly right now if you wanted to. Just like any liquid soap, it's ready right away. But it does just sort of get a little bit better with age. So I'm going to set this aside in a closed container for the next couple of weeks, usually like a 4 to 6 week time frame, like a bar soap, to let it rot. And it is going to look a little different then too. And I'm going to make a separate video to show you a few different things you can do once you dilute it. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments if you'd like to see more tutorial style videos with me instead of just like, here's a soap that I'm making. If you want to see some more interesting techniques for soap and skincare, if you want to see more recipes, let me know in the comments and I might jump back into making YouTube videos for you guys. All right, thanks.